Sweet. I love this remote control. All right. So the last age. The mechanical age. Okay, it's short. Ah, look. The insignia of Black Ship. It's that flag that we found in Stone Ship. The Stone Ship drawer. See, it's all coming back around. Ahem. Before arriving in this age, I was determined that it would be a journey to a world very different from my previous adventures. And it was. The sky here is dark and gray and incessantly displays flashes of lightning in the distance. I met a very old man. Okay, another old man. With a long beard and hair that hangs to his waist. He is very feeble and has trouble even moving. This man has obviously been through very many things in this strange world, and I have learned many things from him. He has told me an interesting story of this world's history. I need a drink. Should have taken it before I started, but, you know. Live and learn. Years ago, he told me, there was a beautiful city that rose up out of the water. It housed many people inside its walls, and the people had everything they wished for. The city was surrounded by 3 high hills which rose higher than the city. On the east hill of the city rested a large outlook post. The people of the city had constructed the post expecting visitors to arrive from the east. The people had no means of traveling on the water, which forced them to merely wait for friend or foe. As time passed, friendly visitors brought rumors of an enemy that existed beyond the horizon. The people grew fearful, yet nothing happened. One day, the usually sunny sky became as dark as night, and black ships appeared on the horizon. The lookout post's attempt at peace were turned away, and the sentries there were easily overwhelmed. The ships continued to wreak havoc on the city, apparently destroying everyone and everything. After the foundations of the city were destroyed, the city sunk deep into the ocean, and only the lookout post remained. The black ships sailed away. The man continued to say that 8 people had hidden and managed to survive through the attack. In the 9 years since the attack, 2 other survivors had died. He also said that it was rumored that 10 years from the attack, the enemy would return to finish the destruction they had started so long ago. I have decided, since hearing the man's story, that it would be admirable to save this civilization and stop this enemy's plan of destruction. I am excited about the adventure that awaits me, and an idea has sparked in my mind to provide the needed defense for these people. And in the more obscure areas of the Myst loredom, it's kind of very, what do you call it? Apocryphal, I guess. There are some comic books that were made quite some time ago, Myst comic books about the black ships, and it was absolutely horrible. I know I owned it at one point because I collected Myst stuff, but I think I don't think I brought that stuff with me, so I can't show you. It was awful. They drew Atris to look like some sort of buffed out superhero at the end, and with a shirt ripped open, and it's like, what? They didn't even bother reading the source material. Anyway, I met the remaining survivors today and have begun work on a plan for protection. And here Atris goes on a big building spree again. After a short absence, I have returned to this age with my 2 sons. They have, as of yet, traveled rarely with me, and they are understandably excited to be here. They have grown considerably since Everdunes, and it is already obvious to me that they will be a great help in this time. This time. Not in this time. I was thinking in this time of need, instead of the nuisance they have been in the past. Wow. All three of us, along with 4 of the healthier survivors, began construction today. We are building upon the city's old ruins, which will provide a perfect foundation for our fortress. My sons have been spending much of their spare time on the South Island, where most of my materials are stored. I am very pleased with their intelligence, and their creativity is refreshing to see, as they work on some small projects of their own. It has been over 4 months now, and construction is going well. My sons love the world except for its gray sky. They detest the gray sky and tell me many times they wish the sky here were like the blue sky in Myst. The old man I first talked to tells me that the enemy is due in 4 months. I feel we will be ready when the time comes. The man reminds me of Emmett in many ways, and I often wonder how Emmett and his people are doing, as in Emmett, Will, and Branch from the Stone Ship Journal. It has been 6 months of work, and we have finally finished the fortress. It rests between the 3 hills, which are now only islands due to a rising water level that the people experienced after the attack. Inside the fortress, I have designed a most intriguing device. It makes use of a technology called holography. Holography? I'm going to go with holography. Holography. Ow. I'm playing with a Coke tab now, and it bit me. There is kind of an implied connection. There's no, like, certain order to go in. But if the journals don't reference another age, then something in the age references... will reference another age. Like, here's this black flag here, which is the insignia of the black ships. This flag is literally in one of Sirius's drawers in Stone Ship. But if you, like, opened up the drawer and looking for stuff, you'd see that there and not know what it was until you read this journal. So, the implication being the sons have gone behind Atrus's back and, like, looted everything. And it's just, they're just, like, shoving it into their rooms, their bedrooms. All right, holography. I began experimenting with my visits to Aspermere. It will be working in a couple days after I compensate for some small miscalculations. This holographic device will enable the survivors to learn to use the fortress. And actually, the holographic device in Channelwood that was projecting his head over the chomper thing, that is from the mechanical age. It's talking about the holograph stuff right here. Yeah, I don't know. The old man thing is kind of weird because there was the old man in Channelwood who was like, he was like the only surviving human from the age. And then he was all like, when Atrus showed up, he's all like, oh, I've been waiting so long for this moment. And then he killed himself by walking off the end of the pier. So it's like, what? Which I would assume, given the lore that they build on later, that these people, well, it said that the guy actually came from that age. I was thinking maybe it's like other people from the civilization that wrote these books who are kind of like spread out and living the last of their lives in these worlds, but who knows? I think Atrus is supposed to have written these worlds first, so but there, whatever. This holographic device will enable the survivors to learn to use the fortress. The enemy is due to come soon, and I will trust the fortress will provide... Oh, well, there's a picture of the fortress. Will provide sufficient protection for all of us. The black ships have come, dun 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 dun. Their attack was substantial. Their weapons have been stopped, and it appears they have turned away in defeat. I could not help but smile as I watched the boats leave. So, I feel like there's some detail missing from this battle, Atris. Their attack was substantial, but their weapons have been stopped. Last night, we had a small celebration and the old survivors danced their dances of old. My sons did not understand why the sky had not turned back to its original blue. The old man told them that the storms would never end until the enemy was destroyed. I assured my sons that a blue sky was not worth the risk of death, and they seemed to hear me. I have had a healthy adventure and have begun work on a new book. Once again, I must leave a familiar age in search of a new universe. I have begun. But first, I will have an extended time with Catherine, whom I miss very much. I must also return to the people of the tide. Cerulean tides? I believe in my travels I have found a substance that will ease the pain of their bone ailments that they have long endured. I hope to return to mechanical age one day and find the population growing and my fortress still strong. Though the sky may always be black, I am confident the people here feel a heavier darkness has been lifted from their shoulders. The end. Oh, not the end. Rotation. I'm going to turn it back up now that we're out of Channelwood. Uh-oh. Bad things may have happened here. I can't Alt-Tab. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't need to save it. I'm going to do the unthinkable and quit while everybody's watching. So I can turn it back up. It may have just... Whoa! I was going to say, it may have died. It did die. Okay. Never mind the video jumps. Whoops. And we're back. It's like playing all these old games. I realize how much I like menus in games. Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine was particularly bad because it was like just a dialogue box for the menu and you clicked Start New Game. Bzzz. All right, the key. to our destiny. 240. 221. Remember that? 240, as in the time 240, and 221. Gee, I wonder where to put the time. If only there was like a clock or something. This elevator, man. Terrifying. Let me out. Seriously, let me out. Or should I say, seriously? Puns. Here is a clock tower. Behold. The little wheel turns the little hand, and the big wheel turns the big hand. 240. Bam! Bloop. And thus, we activate the last marker switch. Whoa, the door caught me. I wonder what the 221 is for. So, this is an interesting puzzle, if I can stay focused on it. Okay, this is the reset button. You can pull the left lever, and the bottom two wheels will spin both once. And if you pull the right lever, it does the top two wheels once. But if you pull a lever and then hold it down, you'll get a different result. Long story short, you pull this twice, and then this, you pull the right lever twice, and then the left lever once, and then hold it down until it's 221. Booyah! I mean, that was like... That was so difficult. I like the spooky music that starts in some of these cases. It's like... I think out of all the ages, the mechanical age music is the theming that I like. Because it's just... It's so metal, man. But no, it's more synth and strings than the rest of the ages. Hey, wait a second. The sky is quite blue in this picture. Oh. See, here's another one of those, like, sort of implied lore, is that the only way Cirrus could have had the black flag in his drawer is that they didn't listen to Atris, and they eventually went back and killed the enemy because the sky is blue and they have the flag. Oh crap. I forgot about this. See, the Maze Runner is the other age that kind of like you have to finish the age completely before you can leave, and this is the other one. And I thought this was harder than the Maze Runner, to be honest. Because you're like, well, we're here. This is where we live now. And just think about it. Atreus, his 2 sons, and 4 people built this thing in 6 months. I am not sure if that's possible. I mean, look at the size of these gears. Let's go the right. Oh, well. This is Akinar's room because it's all creepy and blue. Don't mind if I sit in his throne. Oh. Now here's some more, like, throwback. There's one of the ape-like people's faces on the wall, so that's a Channelwood reference. Oh. A Jack-in-the-Box? With a snake inside. I don't know where the skin is from. Oh, I do know that's a secret room. And this is like an icky box. There's a corpse in there. And an electric cage. So, the blue guy is pretty disturbed. With a butcher knife on a carving block. Moving on. It's like, definitely, if I had to pick between one of the brothers, it would have been the red guy. It would have been Cirrus. This is the fabled holographic device from the journal. Fortress Rotation Simulator. Which I do actually need, because I forget how to work the fortress. So I remember... Oh, it's sound-based. So all I remember is that the left lever kind of like disengages the locks on the fortress, and then this one will actually move the thing. But you gotta be really careful because you can overshoot what you're trying to get to. Slowly push. Okay, so what are we gonna call that? Dink, donk, or bonk? Whoops. Bonk. South. Book Island. Or at least the entry island. Disengage. Okay, and this is a hiss. The hiss is east. Is this the Rocket Age sounds? So north should be a dink or something if it's rocket age noises. And west will be the chirp, if I recall correctly. Tweet! Sweet. We have learned how to use the thing. Bonk! Let's take the left tunnel this time. A mechanical bird. Well, this is certainly a throne. And a marble chessboard, although it's pretty small. A model rocket, a model ship. And check out this painting. I forget which painting. This is like a real painting from the real world with Cirrus's head painted on top of it instead. Which, knowing this guy, which knowing Cirrus rather, is probably not a Photoshop. He probably dressed up. Is it Napoleon? I know that's who I wanted to say, but I wasn't sure. I think this guy's got a secret panel also. The red page is in here, I believe. Oh. Cirrus, your greed sickens me. Your desire for wealth and plunder is never satisfied. I will instruct my subjects not to pay your new tax, and you know they'll listen to me. Regards, Akinar. Ah, brothers. Trying to click. Where is the red page? Oh, there it is. I overlooked it. Already got the blue page. I don't know what lore aspect prevents you from carrying both pages, but it's impossible. Could have sworn these crystals made musical notes when you touched them, but they don't. Anyway, this is the center of the fortress. Bonk. Whoa. Oh, right. I kind of remembered something just that we're about to face. And I remember this part because I... Okay. It's like auto fire clicking. You just picture the guy, the player just like hitting the button. Reminds me of Fallout. So you like come up here and you're like, well, there's some gears and some lights, but not much else. Okay, here's like a side note. is that you couldn't look up in the original game, so you were kind of forced to just like walk around. Or at least if you were allowed to look up, it wasn't something you did. But clearly there's like a set of controls up there on the top of the elevator. So it's pretty easy to figure out that you need to lower the elevator. Okay, we're on the south side. We want to go to the east island, which is a hiss. So we disengage the fortress. If all goes well, we should hear a hiss. Yes! Call the elevator back. Sweet. And there's nothing here but a pedestal with some shapes. So 3 pyramids with a sphere and left semicircle. Semicircle. Your pronunciation of choice. Now, there is a telescope. I think it's in Sirius's room. And if you look through one of these, you'll see a certain something. All right. Next stop, North Island. Disengage, and we want the ping noise. Ding! And down. Oh, it's a beautiful sunset. Okay, so it's like what I would call the elevator symbol, because that's what it looked like when we were in the basement. And then down arrow, rectangle, up arrow. Notes taken. Oh, there is no West Island. Okie dokie then. So yeah, you look through the telescope when you're pointing to the North Island? Is that a black ship? Is it just a poor soul who got caught on the bad side of the brothers? But there's one thing we know, he did. Well, this clock is set to 3:35. I wonder, I've never tried putting that into the Myst clock tower. Now I'm curious. we need to go back to the Bonk Island. Hello? That should be the west. And this should be south. When you do the controls, it's kind of fiddly because you disengage it and then you push that lever all the way up and then it kind of like slowly goes to the halfway point and then it snaps to the next island. But if you just keep holding that lever down, it just whips around once it's up to speed. Which is an interesting idea. You are standing exactly in the center of the fortress when you're rotating it. So I guess the forces aren't too bad if you're just like swinging this thing. The shape device. Elevator symbol. The down, up. That one. 3 pyramids with a sphere. And the left semicircle. I skipped it. Ta-da! It crashed. Luckily, now that we know the symbols, we don't have to rotate anything. Load. All right, I already have the blue page. See, overall, not too much progress has been lost. The 3 pyramids in the sphere and the semicircle. Do not crash on me. Thank you. Bomb, bomb. Oh, Akinar, I have a page for you.
Hello, I'm Akinar.
Hello. Yes, I've been told.
I'm glad to see that you've returned to help me escape from my wrongful imprisonment. It was Cirrus who did this to me. Cirrus, my wicked brother. Do not listen to him. I warn you. I warn you. He's a liar. Do not be persuaded by his evil lies. Do not release him. He killed my father. He will kill you. Began when my brother Cirrus began to lust for riches. He stole from the ages of mist. He hoarded riches for himself.
I found your torture chamber.
Father slipped away his watchfulness. My sick brother secretly pronounced himself king. King of the ages of mist, he said. He began to look upon me in disgust. Slowly, brother.
I do believe this.
And then Cirrus began to destroy the ages of mist. He burned their forest. He tore down their structures. He flooded their lands. He murdered their inhabitants. He destroyed all but 4 of the ages. Of course, I had warned Father. When I finally found him, there was Cirrus also, talking cleverly. The lying tongue of a serpent. He had convinced Father that it was I who destroyed the ages. He convinced Father that it was I who was greedy for wealth and plunder. And as Cirrus dealt the final blow, he tricked Father into believing that I was the murderer. But Cirrus did not deal as fast a blow as he planned. And his father died a slow death. He at last doubted my brother's clever lies, and so in dying, Father imprisoned us both. I'm sure from which of us the blow had come. I swear to you what I say is true. Release me. You must release me. My brother is a deceitful liar and deserves punishment. I only wish vengeance for my dear father. His murder. Believe me. You must only recover one additional page to release me from this prison. It's the easiest to find. Go to the bookshelf that's in this library. On the far right side of the middle shelf, there's a burned book, which is different from the other burned books. This book is filled with patterns. Find pattern 158. Mimic its design on the panel in the fireplace. Doing this will bring you to the last blue page. Remember, don't take the red page.
Don't take the red page, got it.
Return quickly to me. And do not touch the green book. It's a clever trap to imprison those who have not been warned. Do not be tempted, or you will rot and die. Prison Zion.
You will rot and die.
I tell you, if you follow my instructions, it will be well worth your while. I promise you that. Go. Go.
Okie dokie then. We're gonna hear your brother's side of the story. Whoosh. Oh, I want to set the clock to 3:35 to see if that's an Easter egg. 3:35. Oops, wrong way. Pages back here. Yoink! A lot of gold. Gold! Whoop. Don't crash. Thank you. 3:35. Erase, save. Whoa, there was a weird bird in the sky. 3:35. I mean, that was expected. The gear's going away. Okay. If something has happened, it has not happened here. Oop! Getting stuck. Red page. Let's hear your story.
Finally returned. I owe you a debt of gratitude, for you have nearly released me. My name is Sirius. I trust that from your explorations you've become convinced that my wicked brother, Achenar, is guilty, and I am innocent. It is I who am wrongly imprisoned here. Imprisoned by my father. I don't know who you are, or how you came to this island, but I assume you must at least know something of the books. It was Father who was a master of the books. He wrote hundreds, all describing and linking to the fantastic places and ages which he had discovered. The room in which you now stand was our father's library. It was here in this room, on this island named Myst, that he housed most of these books. But such a waste. By now, you have surely discovered that Achenar has burnt and mutilated most of these books.
Someone has, that's for sure.
Our father was was always watchful of our exploration. We grew up under his strict supervision. But when we came of age, he gave us unbridled access to the Myst books. He began to leave our adventures more and more unchecked. Unsupervised as we were, my brother began to become disturbed. He began to take more from the Myst ages than he had given. Soon he gained a twisted pleasure from the conquest and destruction of the other ages. It was horrific. His thirst for destruction. But alas, even I discovered his insanity too late. He had completely destroyed all of the Myst ages but 4. I wasted no time. In warning my father, I thought he would recognize Achenor's guilt. But in a fit of rage, he imprisoned both my brother and myself within the pages of these books, designed to hold us until he could judge which of us was guilty. To discover the truth, our father embarked on one final chapter. However, he has never returned. I can only assume that he perished along the way, leaving me, an innocent victim, entrapped forever. But now, you are here to release me. Listen carefully. You must find one more page and I will be forever free. There is a book on the shelves. This library, which is mostly burned but has a few pages still intact. It is the last book on the middle shelf. Find it. This book is filled with a variety of patterns.
A variety.
Find pattern 158 and recreate it on the door of the fireplace. This will bring you to the last red page. Bring that page to me, and I will finally be released, and able to reward you, of course. Ignore the blue page. That page finishes my brother's book. Chills me to even think what would happen if you were to release him.
One of many plot holes is how do they know where all the pages were?
Also resides a green book. If you touch the green book, you also will be imprisoned forever. Our father gave us this same warning long ago. I suggest you follow his advice. Go now. Soon we will be face to face.
I don't remember Achenar telling us not to touch the green book, but maybe that's when he was like, "You will die, rotten die." Okay. So I believe now is the time to check out the marker switch vault. Thusly. A white page. Oh, how intriguing. All right. So pattern 158, this is what I actually looked up in the very first part. Because I needed to refresh my memory, and I will still need to refresh my memory. So I'm going to load up the picture that I took. Picture? Voila. Pattern 158. The suspense! One shot. And behold our final choice. Blue or red? Green.
Who the devil are you? Don't come here to Dunny, not yet. Oh, I have many questions for you, my friend, as you no doubt have for me. Where should I begin? Perhaps my story is in order. My name is Atris. I feel you've met my son, Cirrus and Achenar, in the red and blue books on Mist Island in my library. My library. It contains my works, my writings. Oh, I wrote many books that linked me to fantastic places. It's an art I learned from my father many years ago. Oh, but the red and blue books, those were different. I wrote those books to entrap over greedy explorers who might stumble upon my island of mist. But I had no idea my own sons would be entrapped. My sons, Cirrus and Achenar. We had many journeys together. I gave them free rein to the books. Perhaps it was not wise. I could see the greed growing in them. I had not told them about the red and blue books. Their imaginations went wild. They dreamed of riches and power. Of course, they did not know the books were traps. They begged me for access to those books, and I, of course, denied them. Oh, they devised a plan. An evil plan. I had no idea to what extent their greed had progressed. Their own mother.
Well.
Oh, my own dear Catherine. They used her to lure me here to Dunny. Of course, I could return to Myst, except they removed a single page from my Myst linking book. I cannot return without that page. You, my friend, can bring that page to me. Oh, I pray you believe my story above the lies that my sons have told you. If you could find it in yourself to return that page to me here in Dunny, I could go to Myst and bring justice to my sons for what they've done. I must return to my writing. I pray that you believe me. Please hurry. Bring the page. Bring the page with you.
I'm waiting to see if he says anything else. How long do we wait? I'm watching you write. Okay, so the one thing that I always compare this to is the very original game. So you open this book and he's like, "Oh, who the devil are you? Don't come here to Dunny, not yet." And it's like the rest of the speech is pretty much on track, but in the original game he's like, "Who the devil are you?" And then he like panics to tell you not to come hurt you. What am I trying to say? He's like panicking that you don't touch the screen yet to get to the book. He's like, "Don't come here to Donnie, not yet." And this one he's just kind of like, "Oh, don't come, not yet." Anyway, it's sort of like a weird aside. A difference. Because they actually re-recorded this
Have you
part.
found the missing page? Come.
And he's like, "Come on, then."
Come on, then.
Yeah. Yes, I have the page. We'll put you out of your misery. But they actually re-recorded Atris's bit, but they kept the original book videos. It's so pretty. This room is actually in the novels, because Atris was actually locked in this room, And then he tried to, I believe he tried to break his way out and caused this cave-in. But that was like way before Myst happened. The music is very loud. Hey. Got your page.
Ah, my friend. You've returned. And the page. Did you bring the page? Ah. Give it to me. Give me the page.
Click.
You've done the right thing.
Yay.
I have a difficult choice to make. My sons have betrayed me. I know what I must do. I shall return shortly.
Boop. In the original game, it took quite some time for him to come back. But it's pretty quick in realMyst.
It is done. Oh, I have many questions for you, my friend, but my rating cannot wait. I feel that my long delay may have already had a catastrophic impact on the world in which my wife Catherine is being held hostage. Oh, reward. I'm sorry, but all I have to offer you is the library on the island of Myst. The books that are contained there. Feel free to explore at your leisure.
They're all burnt, Atris.
Explorations are satisfying. You will no longer have my sons to deal with.
He exploded them.
Oh, and one more favor. I'm fighting a foe much greater than my sons could ever have imagined. At some point in the future, I may find it necessary to request your assistance. Till that point, you're free to enjoy the exploration from my library on Myst. And thank you again.
Tell me to use the book so I can go back.
The book, you can use the Myst linking book to return to Myst.
Thank you. So that was a video, and obviously this is a bit odd where they've kind of like mapped. He's like the most high resolution texture in the game. But there is literally nothing here. So, time to go back. Yoink! See, he literally exploded them. And what's this? A bonus age? This is actually not in the original game. Ahem. Rime, I have named it. A desolate age with a beauty that is quite different than I had expected or imagined. The intricate feathers of ice that fall from the sky are awe-inspiring. I feel as though I could sit and watch them for hours. And though it is cold here like I have never experienced before, I find myself enjoying the change of temperature, for it is unlike any other place that I have ever seen. Perhaps the oddest thing is the silence. Although the wind blows on occasion, when it ceases, there is a suffocating silence that falls on this place, broken only by the distant cries of unseen creatures. I have visited 3 times, and I am sure now that this age will provide the environment I need. I believe the cold temperature is necessary for obtaining the correct resonance. Examining the structure of the books is ever more perplexing, but I am driven onward by my need to understand. The great tree of possibilities can never be fully grasped, but I must at least try to find one particular branch. Now, this was added after Riven came out, and they were starting to work on Myst Online, so they've had a lot more lore developed at this point. So that's why it's like really technical all of a sudden. On the subject of enlightenment, I would also like to find the cause of the mysterious lights that shine in the darkness here. Though I never assumed that I would be able to build especially fast here, the speed at which I am progressing is somewhat disappointing. I do think I will bring Cirrus and Achenar, as well as some of the machinery from Selenetic. Or Selenetic. Achenar chose to stay with Catherine, but Cirrus was rather excited to come. He has spent the last few days here with me, helping me with the beginning phases of construction. He too seems to enjoy the ice and cold weather. He is intrigued with the crystals that we have brought with us. He has been a big help, as have others, and I hope to be able to begin my experiments here soon. And I think he's talking about the crystals from the Rocket Age. In the crystal forest that was making the whistling noises. Tonight, Cirrus and I found a wondrous spot to view the lights, although it seems they decided to hide from us. After sitting in the cold winds for almost 2 hours, or over 2 hours, we saw nothing. It was rather disappointing. Cirrus will return to Myst tomorrow. He has been a tremendous aid to me, and I'm thankful for his willingness to help. The hard part of the construction is over, although I've decided after tonight that I would like to add some kind of observation post. I won't be finished as soon as I had hoped, although I am fairly certain it will be worth the delay in the long run. I have decided to take a break from the construction now that the tunnel is almost complete, and I have been able to set up a temporary space where the crystals will not be stimulated. I am quite convinced that with the right diffractive resonance, certain properties of the ink can be simulated. Catherine still finds it absurd and thinks I'm crazy to assume I will be able to view ages with stones, but her unusual pessimism has not convinced me to stop trying. I came too close to success on Everdunes. So, again, this was added after Riven. So this crystal is prominent in Riven, which is kind of interesting. Because Catherine was using crystals in Riven, so she obviously came around to the idea. I am fairly certain now that temperature indeed does have an effect on the crystals, but I have realized that temperatures alone is not enough. We're talking like, Sub-Zero superconductive Stargate stuff, right? The cold dampens some of the sympathetic harmonics, but a more active suppressor is necessary. I have required some geodes with a pure protected crystalline interior. Thin slices of the geodes below each crystal provided a stabilizing effect and even amplified the clean frequencies slightly. After quite a bit of experimentation with the shapes and colors, I was able to capture a blurry image within a book. Though the link would never work, there was clearly an age on the other side. I can hardly wait to return and tell Catherine. I feel like I should finish the shaft to my observation post while I have the machinery here. Perhaps tomorrow morning. The lights were beautiful again last night. They had not shown themselves for so long that I'd almost forgotten their beauty. I still must find the cause. I am feeling rather overwhelmed with what remains to be done. The crystals have not been perfected. The shaft is not finished, nor is the observation post, or even the lab. I have not seen Catherine for some time, and I long to spend more time with Cirrus and Akinar. I read their names backwards. Besides all of that, there are, far away in the back of my mind, the thoughts of my people and our lost city. I dreamt of them again last night. And this is a teaser for Myst Online that was coming up, so... I believe realMyst was like sort of a tech demo to familiarize themselves with the engine that they were going to use for Myst Online. So, I have seen the city in its worst condition, and still its beauty overwhelms me. Even now, as I visualize how majestic it must have been before the destruction caused by Veovis and Agaris, it amazes and saddens me. Veovis and Agaris are name drops from one of the Myst novels. They're like the two fanatics who are like responsible for killing off their civilization. I don't even remember what their reasoning was, but yeah, they killed their own country. I am fairly certain that Dunny is not as dead as my father believed. I am convinced that there must be some who managed to escape the destruction and even now continue to survive in separate ages. Within me is an urging to take the chance and return to Dunny to find these survivors and properly rebuild our city. Which is the premise, or was the premise, behind Myst Online. However, I can do nothing until I am certain of the fate of my father. If my plan failed, if I missed a single book when attempting to trap him on Riven, then he has been free all along. If that is true, then all that stands between him and the ages I have now written is the link from Dunny to Myst. As much as I wish to return to Dunny, without knowing the state of my father, I cannot risk reestablishing that link. I must observe my father without reestablishing that link. It has taken several years, and there have been many dead ends, but I have partially succeeded. Now that I have managed to view another age using the crystals, it is only a matter of time until I view Riven. At least, I hope. Catherine will have her ideas about all of these things, and I miss her greatly. I will return to Rime later when my mind has cleared. So, this book was on the shelf, but I skipped over it on purpose because this number down at the bottom, 2735, that doesn't get added until you free Atris. Taking a picture so I don't forget. You think I wouldn't forget 2735 in the 5 seconds it takes to... But... So we go back to the beginning. I'm stuck. I am, in fact, stuck. Okay, I'm free. So we need to punch in 40. No, wait. Yeah, 40. The topographical extrusion test. Oh. I hope that beeping noise wasn't like the delete. I only clicked once. Pew! Good. Voila. It crashed. Crashed to desktop. This one. Luckily, we can skip the book this time. I have to admit, I like the structure of a game that's like all the time is spent like reading and thinking. So if you already know, you can just kind of do whatever you want anyway. It especially helps when the game crashes and all you've done is read and think, so you can just pick up where you left off. Of course, come on, this game is like 18 years old, so gotta give it some credit for even working on Windows 10 at all. Beep beep boop boop. Okay. Oh, I almost got stuck again. That would have been embarrassing. Surprise. Sneaky new area. So 2, 7, 3, 5. And what have we here? The music is pretty sweet too. This is where I actually spent most of the game time, like when realMyst came out, because when this came out, this looked amazing, and I shall show you why. Boop. So it's supposed to be frigid, which I can relate to because it's been ice storming here. Rather, where I live. So it's ice storming here, and it's ice storming here. I'm getting tired, but I will endeavor to finish this. It's just a short little age. Because the door is stuck. So thawing the... Oh! Musical cue? The place has thawed. How lovely. So Atris spent quite some time building all of this, apparently. So there's a beep boop button. But this is what is so cool. Or at least it was in 2000. He figured out how to trigger the aurora. After all that time! And you can change the colors. Blue! Okay. Oh, it's another journal. Great. Oops. I went down. The music changed. Obviously, we need to go read that journal. A drawer? Please open. I guess it won't open. Ahem. Actually, let me really just... Wet my lips. There's coffee stains on this book. Atris! I think I need to take a picture of those crystals. My game sense is tingling. Because this last crystal is blurred out, I do believe it's important. I know another set of crystal pattern is important, but I don't remember this one. Before spending any more time with my experiments, I have decided that I must finish construction. I have brought both Cirrus and Achenar this time. The shaft is almost finished, as is the observation post. Both boys prefer it inside where it's warm, protected from the cold. Achenar sits in the observation post for hours, while Cirrus is consumed with the crystals and the glimpses of ages that we were able to see. Neither of them shows any real desire to leave. I cannot remember the last time my son spent so much time with me in an age. After more experimenting with the shapes of the crystals, we were able to get a nearly perfect view of an age inside of the book. Cirrus wanted to link immediately, not understanding the link was only visual. Without the ink, the crystals do not bind onto a particular age. Because of this, the crystals have an interesting side effect. It is possible to change the crystals and watch the age change. While in reality we are seeing a vast number of distinct, though similar ages, displaying the current age defined by the crystals, it appears as though we are changing the original age. And we're getting smack dab into the middle of linking theory, boys. Back in the day, Myst forums had two rules: no politics and no linking theory, because people would yell and scream like politics. But here is, he's describing the multiverse theory of linking, where your books describe a link to an existing world, and if you change the world and then you link in, like when he wrote that the ships into stone ship and it like broke into it was fused into the rock. The first theory was that he was actually changing the age, but then they kind of backed off of that and are saying that when you changed a link to the world, it actually, like he said, it's a vast number of, what did he say? A vast number of distinct, though similar ages, displaying the current age defined by the crystals. And it appears as though you're changing the original age, but you're really just kind of like changing the link a little tiny bit to another world that's more closely defined to what you wrote. It's good stuff! Anyway, I digress. Next are the lights. My sons seem much more interested in the lights of the night sky right now. Their only interest in the crystals seems to be whether or not we can view channel wood or stone ship. Two ages I have not... Whoops. Smack the microphone. Two ages I have not seen in a long while. It is possible to view the ages, although the time it would take to find the correct combination would be prohibitive. Yeah, I do agree that it's kind of lame, because this stuff was added after Myst and Riven, when they started kind of, I'm just going to say it, when they started mucking up the lore and changing things like, oh, the trap books aren't really trap books, and the linking isn't really changing the world, and all this and that and the other. So this is kind of like stepping their toes into retconning a whole parcel of stuff that I just went, nope. My headcanon, nope. I do not consider my task with the crystals complete, but I would rather keep Cirrus and Achenar excited and here, so we will move on to the lights. I think it is better to keep Riven from them, and so it is just as well that we move on to something else. I will view that place later. The lights are curious. Although I originally thought the effect to be an organic one, I now believe it to be electromagnetic in origin. What does he mean, organic? Like, I mean, it's pretty clear it's an Aurora Borealis effect. I suppose it's possible he's never seen one, because Dunny is underground. Anyway, I think the effect could be triggered somehow. It's something that we'll have to try, and if Cirrus and Achenar have their way, it will be soon. I have never seen either of them so interested in my experiments, and I do not want to dampen their enthusiasm. Seems they have forgotten about the crystals for now. I am not sure either of my sons was expecting the amount of work it would take. It has turned out to be a challenge working above the cold waters where the wind cuts through clothing and skin like a sharp knife. Still, even amidst the dark cold, they are driven to complete the task. It is a side of them that I have not seen before. Another hard day, but we have erected the first of 3 towers. I am too tired to write tonight. It has been a week. The 2nd and 3rd towers are up. We only need to connect the power. I'm exhausted, as are Cirrus and Achenar. However, they have no intention of quitting, and that drives me. How many more pages are there? Okay, 2. Like, I'm running over time. Sorry, YouTube, this is going to be a long cut. The towers are finished, as is the power to each of them. Power will be conducted directly through the sailing sea, alleviating the need for stringing wires and enabling us to locate the towers a comfortable distance away. Most of the remaining work can be accomplished inside, for which I am grateful. I am tired of the cold. I look forward to the warm beaches of Myst Island. Perhaps we all deserve a break. We only spent a day with Catherine before returning. We were here only a minute before we again began to experiment with the towers and the electromagnetic discharges. We were able to create an arc for the first time between 2 towers. Its reflection in the cold waters was magnificent. We are close now. Tomorrow, after adjusting the voltage, we will know just how close. The beauty is awe-inspiring. At our command, multicolored waves of light dance across the dark sky. Brilliant flashes of white lightning that make the display even more amazing precede them. The boys are convinced they will be able to bring their mother here, and though she usually refuses to use the books, I am becoming convinced that she will come, or at least I hope. And there again is a reference that Catherine seems to, not like using books, which I don't remember that. So that's interesting. Because she's actually a native of Riven. So she was born in one of these worlds. But she also helped write Myst Island, so she's like aware of what the ages are. And apparently she doesn't like using them. So, interesting. As for me, I must return to Myst or some other warm place. There is more to accomplish here, but I long for the sun and will spend some time under its glow before returning. Catherine had to come after I told her of my intentions to use the crystals to view Riven. She is now consumed with the setup of the geodes and the crystals and encourages me daily as I try to uncover the combination that will allow me a view of that age. Sirius and Akinar did not come this time. I must return to Everdunes. I believe that a few of the crystals I left in Everdunes may help here. Catherine has returned home for now, but she will meet me on Myst Island in 3 days. I think I will be ready by then. Okay. She kind of has the perspective that I do of like a real world transporter. I wouldn't use it. It's cool, but I wouldn't use it. Plus, I guess, I don't know, if you subscribe to that multiverse theory, the amount of effort they put into keeping Riven alive, I guess, they keep adding stuff to the book. So essentially they just keep changing what world it's pointing to. So she's been written away from the world that she knew. Which is weird. It's just weird when you start getting into the details. Okay. So you can see the crystal pad thing sitting on the book. That is a ribbon thing. Crystals. It is real. The work of your hands, the touch of my dreams. I've left my dream for you. It's a note from Catherine to Aegis, by the way. I'm only yours, Catherine. I love Catherine. She's always like super flowery in her thinking. Artistic, I guess. Aegis is very technical and detailed and kind of detached from stuff. I'm looking at the crystal pattern that I found in the journal. I don't think the camera will pick it up. Nope. I don't think that's anything. I don't think. But this is definitely. Yeah, the thing is, it's like, yeah, they were spending all this time like adjusting the book. Like Aegis is sitting there at the end of Myst, writing in that huge book because he's trying to keep Riven from exploding while Catherine's there. And it's like, if it was really like the changing the connection idea, then it's like, that's not your Catherine anymore that you've pointed to. So you can't get away from the idea that you're changing the world that you're writing. Crystals. So if you click it, the crystal changes shape. If you mouse over it, it changes color. And I'm looking at the picture in the note. I think that's crystal 1. They do? Both crystal patterns do something? I know what this one is. And then we can try to mess around with the other one to wrap up the stream. Because this is the end of the new content. Green? I want a spiky blue gem. I think that is... I think that classifies as a spiky gem. Can't tell if that's blue. And oh no, that crystal needed to stay the shape it was. Bloop. Perfect. And now this one needs the split top one. You shall see what that one. Nope, not that one. That one. I don't think that's purple enough. There we go. Ah! His life's work is complete. Not really. But yeah. Call back to Riven. Which was really cool when the game came out. All right, I have the other crystal pattern up. They're not colored, so I don't know. Maybe it doesn't matter. But we're about to find out. I need the V. This one. I believe. Need the short stubby one that's split into two. That one. Perfect. As far as... No, phone, don't darken on me. I need to see. There are actually, I recall, lots and lots of different Easter eggs in here. Stored in the crystal pattern. And back before Myst Online came out, they would like leak the different patterns. They'd leak puzzles. And then people would figure out that they're crystal patterns and put them in here and get Easter eggs for like sneaky stuff for the new game coming out. Ooh. That's certainly something. Do we want to call that Everdunes? I remember this now that I see it. I'm not sure what. I want to say it is Everdunes, like, because he keeps mentioning it. Mentioning it. What if we change the colors? Nothing. Oh. Whoa. Okay, gonna admit, I don't remember being able to do this. Is it just the first? Seems to just be the first set of colors that actually changes the flyby effect. Oh, and this is when he was saying changing the colors seems to change the age as you're watching it. I'm pressing the button again. I don't think all the colors are like totally different views, but whoa. How interesting. Well, now we're flying backwards. All right. Let's see if I can bring Riven back. It's going to be tough. It's going to take a while. Because I never tried changing colors. Because Catherine gave colors. So I never thought to like play around with them. Spiky one. Yes. Yeah. Gonna see if I can find a flyby of Riven. I doubt it. Because the colors are pretty specific. Let's see. Let me at least make sure that these are the right shapes. Okay, they are the right shapes. Oops. The picture is changing, but not what we would expect. Click, wong, click, wong, click. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see anything special. The music is nice. Music is quite nice, though. Sounds like the realMyst trailer, actually. Okay, yep, that's it. No flyby of Riven, but cool. And I don't remember the Easter eggs for like all the secret weird stuff. And if I recall correctly, the Easter eggs that you could see for like Myst Online were all like garbled stuff that you had to look up. You'd have to like decipher the image anyway, so it wouldn't have made sense. But here we go. Oh, it could be. It could be that those colors were Riven in different states, and it's just gone. I may play Riven at some point, and which means that I'll want to dump a bunch of lore on you when I play that. But Riven, at the start of Myst, you know, there's that fissure and the guy who's falling in the crack in the sky and he drops the book. That is Riven. That's Atris falling into a crack in Riven, because that's apparently what happens when an age is unstable. It starts falling apart into this fissure thing. It's so pretty. But I believe Catherine added the fissure to Riven to help Atris escape when he confronted Gen at the end of one of the novels. So it's kind of, the fissure in Riven is kind of a weird thing anyway that Catherine did. So it gets kind of weird. It gets really weird when it's detailed. I think I already said that. Okay. The end. That's everything in realMyst. The original realMyst. I think might as well oh, save, please. Thanks. I believe the next stream I will be playing, going back to Indiana Jones, and I'll play Emperor's Tomb. Then I'm hoping that lasts a while, because I'm waiting to build up some of my funds so I can buy a capture card, and then after Emperor's Tomb, I hope to play Perfect Dark, but that's on Xbox. Technically Xbox 360, so you have to emulate it on Xbox One, which needs a capture card, because I'm not streaming from my old Xbox One. So that is the plan. Okay, well, without further ado, I am going to end the stream, because this is a big video to upload. Well, you poor YouTube souls. So thanks for watching. Thanks for liking and subscribing and following and retweeting, bathing, whatever. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Oh. Apris says bye too. I'm trying to find the off button. Where is the off button? Seriously, you'd think I'd figure out how this works by now, but no. No, it's not how it happens at all.